This is the Old School Traveler. I'm back again to tell you about my latest trip to Panama. You know, about price gouging. Now, let me get some things off my chest. I'm going to tell you why I keep going to Panama. Well, I went to Panama. This is my second trip this year. And so this is kind of like I went to get my visa. But let me tell you some things that we noticed and we saw with our own eyes this trip to Panama. Well, we were looking at apartments, and my next video you're going to see the apartments and what I saw in the apartments. But let me give you some other things that that people get wrong. You know, people really get it wrong when it comes to Panama. The Panamanians, you know, people say, oh, they're nice, and they are. But at the same time, they're about money. Any business transaction you do, it's about money. Don't sit there and say that, oh, this guy likes me or this woman likes me and she's trying to make sure I got the best deal. Hell no. They don't give a damn about you. They really don't. They care about making their money. And see, what I'm going to talk about is a couple things. The first thing is apartments. When you go to Panama, I'm not a budget person as far as trying to get, live for free. If you think you're going to go to Panama and get an apartment, 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, all for $1, bullshit. You're not going to get that, okay? Let me tell you right now, you're not going to get that. Because, see, some people, when they go there, they talk to people, and a lot of people are going to put names out on YouTube and other places and say, this is the best realtor. There's a couple people who put out videos that I watch, and they were saying this person, that person is a great realtor. I found out they're not even realtors. No, they put you in contact with the realtors. And let me tell you how I know. The reason I know this for a fact, everything I tell you it's always been a fact. This is going to be a fact. When I went apartment hunting, I just kept wondering why it was a realtor who was always in the apartment when I had a realtor with me. Yeah, I had my own person who I thought was a realtor. They were not a realtor. They had connections to realtors who rented out apartments. And so I thought that was kind of odd. And finally I realized, I said, let me go back and, I asked a Panamanian friend of mine, and I hired a fixer. And he said, oh, that person's not a realtor, but he has connections. So basically, he was a fixer. He knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. That's all he was. But you hear people talk about him, how great and how many apartments he found them. No, that's a lie. He didn't find them anything. He found someone who knew someone, and they found something for that person. So my whole point of this is that when you get multiple people working and helping you, you're paying all of them. Now, it's something that a lot of people don't realize, but I'm here to tell you. When you work with somebody and they get a commission, they only got one goal: get the highest price they can get because they get a bigger commission. It's just common sense. But you're going to hear people tell you they're a realtor. No, I found out some people are not realtors. And when I ask their question, I say, oh, you got a realtor license? No, they do not. No. I asked somebody who speaks Spanish with me, and they were like, that guy's not a realtor, or that woman's not a realtor, but they know a realtor. What the hell? So this is Panama City, Panama. This is not Panama City, Florida. I had a friend go look at an apartment. The same realtor or same person was trying to sell the apartment or rent out the apartment, gave them one price, and because I'm American, they gave me a different price. The exact same. I just want to do a little taste test, more or less. So when you get people telling you they got a great deal, I guarantee you the person who was there before them said the exact same thing and probably paid less. They probably paid less. So, so apartments, their goal is to get as much as they can out of you. And I'm gonna tell you who's the worst: expats. Some reason they have a delusion Just because you got screwed, don't mean I'm gonna let you screw me. If they own the apartment, they're trying to get as much as they can as well, because they don't want to make a mistake and bought something overpriced, like in Punta Pacifica. People go there and they buy things. Just because you got a bad deal, don't mean I'm gonna let you pass it on to me. So in this video, I'm showing you four apartments, and I'm putting their prices on each one of them. One of them was a flat out beautiful place. She wanted $3,000 a month. One of them was nice. Now I'm gonna caveat this. These are all 3 bedrooms. I'm gonna put down the location and what the asking price was. And one lady, she was Jewish. I don't know where she come from, but she seemed like she wanted $3,000 a month. The next lady, she wanted like $2,200 a month, which her place was nice, but it was a ghetto right behind it. And I'm gonna show you the pictures of it. And then one lady, I don't think she wanted to rent it out. Her and some friend of hers was there. They were the actual realtors, and they wanted $1,500 a month, and that place was a dump. You could see mold and all kind of other stuff, and that place was a dump. And the fourth place, that was like $1,700 a month. That wasn't bad, but she had dogs, and the dogs ran around on the furniture, did all kind of stuff. It was not too bad of a place, but that was next to a ghetto, and they had a huge high wall behind her. And I was trying to figure out why they had such a high wall. I went to the wall, looked down, and said, "Holy crap! I don't want to live next to have-nots. I want to live in a community where everybody's almost equal. I'm not saying wealthy, I'm not saying poor, but you got middle class." So that is just apartment hunting. Now, it's the same thing on a restaurant I went to. I go to this restaurant, we hired a driver, go to a restaurant, had a great meal for lunch, and it was like $6, $7 a person. No big deal. Kind of like at Trapiche. No big deal. Go to the next day. She did not know that I had a Hispanic friend coming to meet me for lunch in the same place. She didn't know that. It was a different lady who was serving me. Not the one who served me the day before, who gave me a menu with prices. I'm thinking, I know the price, I know the price already, so I'm gonna go ahead and order. Then so I order, and she tells me it's $11 when I paid $7 the day before. I said, whoa, it's not $11. Oh yeah, the price changed. Well, when my Hispanic friend showed up, she gave me the check. She dropped the price back to $7. Yeah, she thought I was stupid. She thought she was going to gouge me for everything. But I'm always leery when people say you get here a great deal compared to America. Yes, but the average Panamanian only makes about $2.50 per hour. You give somebody $50, $60, you have paid damn near a week's worth of wages for something that they know they're overcharging you. Panamanians are not wedded to you. They are wedded to the dollar bill. And if you think that they're not, something's wrong with you. Same way we go restaurants and they tell me, you want to give a 15% tip. I talk to a lot of Panamanians. They don't normally give tips. We're taking our culture to another country and corrupting the people. No, if you give them 10% tip, that's okay. But they got a guide called Panama Relocation Tours. That is a wealth of information. Man, read it, buy it, whatever. I bought it. So I went down there prepared for stuff in Panama. I'm not hyping them. I don't get paid by them. I've never gotten a YouTube check or anything from anybody. I don't need that. I don't care about that. I do not expect to go to Panama or any place and live for $2,000 a month for everything. That's not my style of living at all. I already know my style of living is going to be similar, and my expenses are going to be close to what I spend in the States. And if that's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, oh well. But I knew that when I decided to look for other places to not necessarily invest, but buy things to keep for myself. Yeah, so I knew all of that already. I see people saying, you can live for $2,000 a month. No. You can live for $2,000 a month. I already know I cannot, because I know the lifestyle I like to live. So I was prepared for that on day one. You know, people say, I got this great deal. Let me tell you how you know you got a good deal or not. I'm gonna tell you a simple thing. If there is a sticker price on it, then you know if you got a good deal or not. If there's no sticker price and you got to negotiate, I don't care what you say. Somebody lost and somebody won, and I guarantee you, if you're in their country, there's a 99.99% chance you lost. Now, people may tell you you won because they lost too. And to losers, other losers don't bother them, and other losers are winners to losers. When you know, everybody else is a winner. So I know this, and a lot of you should know this. People go down there and say, you can live off $500 a month. You can pay rent $500. No, that's what you can pay. I'm not living like that. I'm going to live the exact same I lived in America, if not better. And that cost me. But I don't want to get cheated. Because, see, I looked at YouTube videos and I looked at real estate prices. I looked at the Spanish website to see what they wanted to charge. And then you go to the same company and you look at the English website of the same company, they charge you something different. That should tell you a lot about you. They charge you something different, and it's always higher. It's like buying meat and it's been injected with water or salt water, whatever. That's what grocery stores do to add more weight to it so they can charge you more. That's the exact same thing a lot of the Panamanian realtors do. They said in Spanish, if you're Hispanic, we're charging you $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month. And then you click to the English side, or you go to the same website in English, they done added $200 to it. And then they tell you reasons why. They don't even say we added additional money or the price is going to be different. Now, if you don't mind getting cheated, which I know I am at some point if I rent a place in Panama, go to the Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups and all that, and see what people are paying that want similar things to what you want in an apartment, and see what they're paying. Now, like I said, you're going to get cheated. It's how much you're willing to get cheated out of that you can control. It's how much do you want to get cheated. But if you think that what you pay is what a Panamanian would pay or a Spanish speaker would pay, hell no. And you get people down there, oh man, this is a good deal. And a lot of people down there don't want to tell you what they paid. If they do, and most of them who do are lying to you if you didn't know them before you rented a place. And see, I'm not going to find new friends. I'm going down there so I can have a place to stay when I travel to other cities and other countries in South America. I'm not trying to be Panamanian. I'm not doing none of that kind of stuff. Some people hate America, hate whatever. Everybody got a different reason. And whatever your reason may be, I'm glad for you. But my reason is strictly a landing spot for when I go to other places. That's all I want to do. I don't want to, I don't want to be around a bunch of expats who are disgruntled or not happy. The last quarter of your life should be about happiness. And if it's not that, do what you got to do to make yourself happy. That's legal. That's all I'm saying. Do what you do to make yourself happy. That's legal. That's all you got to do. But when people tell you the great deals they got, let me tell you, I mean, even people go to fondas get cheated. Once they know you are not Panamanian, they are gonna try and get another $1 or 50 cents or whatever it is. They're gonna try and get it out of you. If you don't see a price before you buy it, you got cheated. You got cheated. That's why when I go a lot of places, I tell them, give me the menu in Spanish. Then all of a sudden they can't find one. But when I go with a Hispanic friend and they speak Spanish And I speak a certain amount of Spanish. So I'm not fluent, don't get me wrong, but I've been around enough to know certain things. But my whole point of this video is that, you may get what I want for $1,300 and I might get quoted $1,400. I mean, that happens all the time because everything is a negotiation. And I may be willing to live with $1,400 and you can't afford $1,400. So you got your $1,300 and I'm paying $1,400, but I can live with it because $100 ain't gonna bother me. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to throw away my money, $100. I don't want to set it on fire. But it's not bothering me enough that if it's really what I want, I'm gonna get it. Some people, the extra $100, that messes their budget up. That is, a deal breaker. And for me, it all depends on, do I want it or do I need it? Because when I want things and I need things, I look at them totally different. Totally different. I don't need an ocean view of looking at a river with a bunch of dead things in it. As far as, it's not like you're getting a beach in Panama City. You're not getting a beach in Panama City. It looks really nasty, from a high rise, especially the high rises, was it Ponta Pacific and all that, going to the airport. That doesn't appeal to me. I can be in the city and not see any of that. I can be on Avenue Balboa if it's if I got double pane glass and I don't hear the noise outside. I have areas I prefer and I will pay for what I want. But then again, if I don't find what I want for what I want to pay for it, I just won't get it. I don't mind staying in hotels. Hell, I've done it every time I've been to Panama. And I don't, the Hotel Rio, the Marriott, I stayed in all of them. And I actually like them because I got a nice breakfast every morning and I don't mind spending the money for that. And like I said, I'm not there to live there permanently full time. I'm only there for a few days to go to my next destination. And hopefully when I come back from the next destination, I'm back in Panama City, for a few days to come back to the States. Or I might want to stay in Panama City 2 or 3 weeks. But I don't mind paying for a whole year's rent when I know that I'll probably be down there at the most 6 months. But I have other family members who may visit, stay in there while I'm not there. There's a lot of options I have. But there's nothing I have to be happy. But when I hear people, lie and just brag about what they're paying, yeah, it's always a backstory that they're leaving out. There's always a backstory they're leaving out. And then, it's like lawyer fees. It's always a backstory. Why did the lawyer charge you more than me and me less than you and vice versa? No, it's always a backstory. You may never get that backstory. And then how you know if they're paying what they really say they paid? Unless you see the evidence of the proof, you don't know that. You don't know that. But Panama is not what some people say. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the prettiest skylines in the world. I like Panama. That's why I'm considering it. But what I don't like is price gouging. And then you get the expats who also try and price gouge you when you go to their restaurants. You can't pay somebody $2.50 an hour and then you want to charge American prices. A lot of places run by expats, especially in Buquete and Panama City, they're like that. They are, if an expat owns it, he's trying to make money off other expats because the Panamanians are not going to come in there and eat. Not at all. I'm going to give you an example. I went and had oxtails in 2 different places in 3 days. I had oxtails. El Caribe, the oxtails there are not worth the money. I went to Daiquiri 23. It's a whole different level of oxtails. They charge about the same for the same thing. But Daiquiri 23 is a lot better food. A lot better food. The only food Daiquiri 23, like I said, I keep it straight. Great owner, great people, no problem. I'm not sure I like the pork chops because they're a little bit dry, but everything else was great. But then again, maybe you like the pork chops. Maybe they're, what is what you wanted. I like the oxtails, but other things I had there, I loved them. I loved everything I ate there. I like the vibe. I like the place. I like the way the owner and the manager intermingles with everybody. You know, I mean, I like it. But also, you have people there who go to Daiquiri 23. They really want to see you successful in Panama. They really want to see you do good. Whether it's get a place, that you like, because you talk to people, they were not holding back on things that they enjoy and don't enjoy, about Panama. But I just don't like when people say everything in a particular place is great. That doesn't exist. That's called heaven. That doesn't exist on earth. It do not. And when I see other YouTubers saying, I'm only paying $1,100 a month for this right here, you got to look outdoors and you got to look at other areas and you got to see if that's $1,100 you want to spend, and the price they got, you may not get. Sometimes, people have bidding wars. You may not get that price. But when they put it on YouTube, they make it sound like anybody can get that price. And you know what? You may even get it cheaper. It all depends. Because one apartment I went to, and she said $2,800 a month. I asked how long has it been available. She told me 5 months. Well, obviously something's wrong. If you've been in the market 5 months and you want that kind of money, now I consider her seriously, but I'm like, okay. She said, well, I need to get a contract signed within the next 2 weeks. That ain't happening. That's not happening. The best way to deal with a realtor, tell them what you want and then have them show you the cost of what you want in different areas. Tell them what you want. Don't tell them a budget, because they're going to be at the top of your budget. That's just common sense. That's a realtor anywhere in the world. That's just common sense. They can be at the top of your budget, pissing you off. That's any realtor. So you got to be smart, but find somebody that you feel comfortable with too. Don't go by who somebody else used. Because one thing about Panama and real estate, I do realize a lot of realtors want to show you their listings. They're not interested in showing you their competitors' listing. Now, I get that because they keep all the commission. I totally understand that. But a good realtor just wants to get you in a place to get some money. It may not be as much as they want, but at least they got some stream of income coming in from your rental. That's a good realtor. But the other realtors, it's kind of like, I'm going to cut my whole foot off to fix one toe. Stupid. Get some money coming in, to get going. You ain't got to sit there and try and get it all. And then you know what? You got a happy customer who's going to refer you to other customers, because we all know somebody. We all, got networks, So this is the Old School Travelers telling you about Panama. They're going to gouge you for much as they can, and you may be happy. I know a lot of dumb people who are happy. I got a lot of relatives who are dumb as shit and they're happy. I don't understand that, but they're happy. But if it's a negotiation, you just got to have patience. And foreigners are not used to that, especially Americans. We are a it now today society. Not this guy, the Old School Traveler. I'm patiently waiting for what I think I want at the price that I'm willing to pay. Like I said, I'm not a budget person, but I ain't gonna burn my money up either. This is the Old School Traveler saying price gouging in Panama City is nothing new. Just part of the long string. Peace.